Welcome to Happiness Matters Podcast Edition. I'm Goddess Valentina, the Healing Goddess, and I'm here to do my donation to the universal energy with giving heartfelt messages of enlightenment, love, and just some insight on what is all of this about, the spiritual side of things. And today I want to talk about candles, but not the normal kind of conversation about candles. You know, um, I'm very, um, I'm very tender and sensitive when if anyone is suffering or going through something, and if someone asks me to pray for them, I light a candle. Now, I've read in some holy texts that they've used incense to send prayers up to the heavens, and I think I understand why now. I was Reiki mastered level 2, and there's a whole different angles on why I'm going to stop lighting candles. There's 3 things that I have experienced, and it's really giving me a clear indicator that we could be causing interference with things that's working for the other person. So, for the first for the first time, there was a wonderful lady I knew. We used to eat cookies together on Saturdays, and I used to go to this herbal shop, and she used to give me some advice, and I enjoyed her. She was kind of like snippy to some people, and she used to get very agitated, but I enjoyed her so much. And she passed away, and I found out when she passed away, and I was like, oh my God, my feelings was like so sad. And I went home, and the day of her funeral, I lit a candle, and that candle was moving so fast. You would think that there was a fan or windstorm blowing in my house, and I was just like, okay, maybe I'm causing some interference here, with doing this. And so I turned it out. But it was kind of like I was scared. I've read a lot of things about, how candles pop and break and black smoke and, all kinds of things. And I've lit candles just to light candles because I wanted to, or I've always, if I lit them for myself, I've never really had any contact with any of that kind of stuff going on. So the next situation is there was in Syria, they did a chemical warfare, and a lot of people passed away with the chemical bombs, and it just disturbed me very much. And so I lit a butter lamp for the people and for the people that passed away. The candle was flickering so much. It even twisted and turned into a figure 8. And then it was blinking, blinking, blinking. When Donald Trump sent the bomb over, the candle was blinking so fast, I thought it was going to explode. My husband was just like, oh my God, what is going on here? I never see it. It looked like those flood flashing lights. It was just like, it was huge signals coming through. And I'm just like, you know what? This might be over the top for me. So I put the candle out. And then the next one, it was, someone I know was having surgery, and I lit the candle, and it was perfectly fine. I was monitoring it, and next thing you know, it just started doing something really crazy, and to where it was turning black, the flame was turning dark orange, and part of the flame was broken. Oh my God, it was like the flame had holes in it. I have no idea what was going on here. And I said to myself, you know what? Going forward, if anyone asks me to pray for them, I will, but I'll be lighting incense and sending my prayers with the incense to the heavens. And I'll stick to candles for myself personally, because you just don't know what's going on with people, and you just don't know what's going on. Only the heavens have the eyes to see, and and only the heavens know the truth about everyone, and who they interact with, and especially when you're dealing with souls and stuff like that. And you want people, if you're lighting candles for the dead, you want to make sure that you're not causing interference or any delays. They might be attracted to the wrong light. You want them to go straight forward. I'm just not sure, but I think there's a lot of that stuff. It's a lot of other stuff going on the other side, and I don't want to cause any interference or even be alerted about stuff. I mean, I do enjoy my candles, especially when it's for self. But now lately, lighting candles for other people. I definitely read energy. I do read the energy of candles. They do tell you a lot if you just focus on them with the situation. There will be indicators of that. But I just think that it's just too much information coming through on my candles. I guess as I keep developing myself and growing deeper in my spirituality, I'm just being open to more divine intelligence. And so I just think that's a little bit just too much for me. But I think that, they say frankincense and myrrh is, very, I read something, the two combined together creates a very holy, energetic, energy, fragrance. And they said with focus, these two together, it could be oil, it could be a candle, it could be incense or whatever. But a frankincense and myrrh is, you can get your answers to your prayers faster when you're using these. So I think I'm going to do some shopping around looking for the best frankincense and myrrh incense. And I'll just purchase, a nice little bulk. And it will be for people that are asking for prayers. And I'll do it for myself, But I think that would be a safer route. And let the prayers go straight up and not cause any interference in the other realms with, the candles. So, I mean, I know that a lot of people are probably thinking, I'm not going to even think what people are thinking. I don't want to do that. But this is just my take on it. I've lit regular candles, I've lit butter candles, and it's nuts. Now, when I did it for myself, because I went through an immigration case, when it started to flicker, I knew that there was some type of shift or some type of something going on with my case. And I lit a tea light candle every night for about 18 months straight. I didn't miss a day. And it was my prayer and focus that all of this would be resolved. And I knew that I couldn't do it alone. I needed the divine's help to assist with all these matters. And it all worked out perfectly. My husband's here. He's been here near a year now. And it took us 3 years to get it resolved. So definitely having some type of dedicated focus. Because, with humans, we need something tangible. Not everybody is good with the unseen. Sometimes we need to hold something. We need to see something. We need to visualize with something. And candles are, the element of fire. And I love the element of fire. I'm a fire sign, but I just love fire anyway. But candles are very therapeutic and they're quite lovely, and you could really do some good intention work with candles. When it comes to your life is important. Your heart the desires are important. And we need a way to have dedicated focus. And if you work on it, candles, and using intention and just focusing on the light of the candle and really thinking about what's going on in your life. It's kind of like a silent prayer, if people are not good with, saying things. And I like the silent prayers because sometimes our words can limit what the divine has for us. We're supposed to be great. We're supposed to be doing great things. And we could have a limited view on that. So sometimes I think the silent prayers are just so much powerful. Than we realize, And so I really love the silent prayers because let me tell you something. During the immigration process, there were times where I had no words. I was in so much pain. I was like heartbroken because when you have the government involved in your marriage, it's just so disgusting. And you have no power, no control. They own everything. And it's just so hard. It's just so hard. And you can get discouraged, but there was this movie called Dev Das, and it's one of my favorite movies. And right now, her name, I go a blank, but she lit a candle for her lover for 14 years. Just the way they just displayed this in the movie, it really meant something to me. And it wasn't until I watched that movie and really thought about it, I said, you know what, I'm going to do that too. And it worked for me. It really showed my faithfulness. It showed consistency. It showed dedication. And it was like, there was no way I couldn't light the candle. I had to light the candle. And for a long time, the candle was steady, And then it started doing some blinking. And that's when I started seeing the blinking, those are messages, those are indicators, those are signs. And I just increased my faith. I just increased my prayers. I'm just like, divine, I don't know what's going on. You are communicating with me. Please, and I just went into my prayers. And eventually in time, it stopped flickering and it went back to steady. And I'll never forget it because I got kind of sad. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? But they have these candle interpretations, on Google. But I reference them just to see. But to be honest with you guys, I'm keeping it really straight up. You know what's in your life. You know what you're doing. You know who you're talking to. You know what's going on. And so your candle becomes an extension of you. So if the candle is dim, you could see that there's probably, think of it as being suppressed. Like, what's going on? And you could have a really heavy situation, and the candle will look like that. Heavy, dark orange, just like, and then you have your bright flames, and then you have, the flickering ones. Those are the ones that's when it starts talking to you, and when it's steady, it's like, okay, things are, as long as you stay on this path right now, it's steady. And sometimes when you change your path for the good, the flame will get higher or brighter or something. But you'll know. And it's the candle for yourself, your personal candle for yourself. It's a great, great way to be connected. Even if you don't believe or you have a speck of belief. But I'm telling you, if you work on improving your life. If you really do the dedicated work, and the candle, needs to be for a very dedicated focus. Like you could say, I want to lose 25 pounds. And every day I'm going to be dedicated to light my candle. And I'm going to sit down and focus. And just think about how you feel when you lose the 25 pounds. You're creating a kind of discipline for yourself. And eventually, I bet you will lose those 25 pounds. Because when you're doing, silent intentions of your heart, you start to become that energy. You start to become that focus. It's amazing. It's amazing. These are just simple but very powerful tools that we have at our disposal. And we should use them. So, my recommendations, and I know this is a lot of people have their own viewpoints. My recommendations is light a candle for yourself. When you're praying for others, light incense. That way you're not causing interference. Because sometimes what we're praying for could interfere in what it might not align with what they're praying for or what is supposed to be. Prayers are so important, but when you're lighting a candle to it, you could cause a little conflict with it, causing kind of interference. So we don't want to cause interference. If someone's asking you to pray for them, they're going through something, they need all the prayers that they can get. So why don't you just light the incense and send it directly up without any interference? Because I want to tell you this, doing Reiki, you might not believe this, and I get it, but this is my experience doing Reiki. When I was doing distant healing with Reiki, I actually worked with a few angels, and I can't explain the whole thing. You just know. And I was in a different realm, and when I looked down, I saw all these little lights, and they were candles. I saw all these lights of people lighting candles for one reason or another. And that's when I learned the power of the candle and the light. It's one of the elements of that God has created. It's fire. And so we should really honor that. We should honor fire and use it in the most highest and divine way. I'm not talking right now about romantic candles and all that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about prayers. When you're praying for somebody, when you light that candle, it is a light, and I believe in certain situations, it could be, fine, but I do believe with my experiences is that we could be causing interference and not even knowing. And I do know in different cultures, incense is the number one thing. And I've read in holy books about God's people using the incense to have their prayers go to heaven. And it's a way of connecting. It's sweet smelling fragrance. And I have this wonderful fragrance from jasmine. Oh my God, I forgot the brand of it. But I could put it down in the comment section. It smells absolutely divine. And only one is great. And then there's this Indian temple incense. And that leaves a very lingering smell afterwards. Very nice. Very, very nice. I prefer the cones instead of the incense sticks. The incense sticks are a little bit too strong for me, but the cone leaves a nice, clean, soft smell. And I really believe that using the incense would really, really make a huge difference, because we want to ensure that we are doing the best, and we're doing something good and not causing interference. And just regular prayers without anything is just perfectly fine. It's not causing any interference, but the candle is a light. And when you turn that light on, and stuff is cooking in one area, and now you got another light going on, another candle, and then you're praying, and your intentions for the prayer could be a little bit off, maybe, or not aligned with what the person is saying. And now you can kind of cause a little confusion. So prayers just going up and prayers with incense is the way to go. I just had to share this to you because I was really quite disturbed by the candle. And I'm not sure if anyone else has come in contact with these kind of things, but I just wanted to sit and talk with you guys about it because I thought it was kind of fascinating. So if I get a prayers, I will be lighting incense going forward. So thanks again. Thanks for listening to me and hanging out with me. I enjoy talking to you guys. So this is Goddess Valentina, and I'm the Healing Goddess. I have an Etsy shop. It's an energy healing shop, and I'm doing some really great, wonderful things there for your energy needs. And it's Happiness Matters 88 is the name of the store, and I'm on Etsy.com. So thank you so much, and talk with you soon.